It is raining now.
Where Kolkata 21 degrees. Okay, Abhijit, do we have your complete team? Gopal, do we have your complete team or should we wait?
No, sir, we have my competing in the conference room.
Okay, Gopal, you also, your complete team is there in the conference room?
No, not in conference room. In the meeting individually, we have joined.
Okay, so everybody is present? We
Yes,
can start?
everybody. I can start.
Okay, Leo, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Rajendra. Hi, everyone. Good morning. Leo here, and I'll be giving you a quick demo how to use the Jira software for your day-to-day activities. So let me start this recording. So hope you all see my screen.
Yeah.
And this is your base URL lnsl.crashn.net. So how many of you tried logging to this URL, and how many of are good with login, and if is anyone fail with login, you're getting errors, something. Yes, no.
No, we successfully log in into the Jira.
Okay, good to know. Sounds good. Okay,
Just as
so
a matter, if people don't remember the lensil.atlassian.net and all that, so Kalyan has been very kind to create a lensil URL. I'm just pasting it in chat. You can use this also. It's the same thing. It's just as easy to remember it.
Yeah.
okay, so let's get with a quick overview. What are the components that we will be looking into Jira, especially the work item types, which we call it. I mean, initially it was issue types in Jira, but they renamed it. Instead of issue, it's a work item types. Okay, so we have okay, for the remaining things, you can ignore this project. This is for setting we initiated. But of course, this can be used by project admins for this team, remaining team as well. But majority of the work item types will be used by every member is these five types.
তোমাদের যদি কোনো
Okay.
কোয়েশ্চেন্স থাকে
So let's go through them.
মাইকটাকে আনমিউট
What is
করে
Epic? Epic is nothing but the major work or a very big work kind of initiative or large feature. Okay, in your case, each and every module will be considered as a Epic here. Let's say you have a five modules in a project. Each module will be considered as a Epic, and that's what I mean. That's when we will be creating a Epic issue type underneath story. Let's say if you want to create any features, kind of a predefined features, let's say as a developer I want to create so and so, this is the output and this will be the acceptance criteria. If you have any task in such category, then you will be creating it as a story under your Epic. So Epic is your parent always, and whatever the tickets you're going to create, or sorry, whatever the work items you're going to create, that should be tied with your Epic, which is your actual module. And the story is your feature task, bug. So bug, I mean, we don't need to explain much what is a bug issue type. So if you're working with any of the bugs or defects in your application, then you will be creating the work item as, excuse me, you'll be creating the work item in a bug work item type. And task is a general task. Let's say I want to, for a particular feature, and I want to configure a system. So the system should be configured with the so and so resources, and such criteria or such category task will be created in a task. And what is a subtask? And say, let's say you created a story or bug, and now the story or bug is again a quite complex, and that can be still break down into multiple tasks. Or if the story, let's say there is a new feature that's supposed to be worked or owned by 2 to 3 people. In Jira, each and every work item can be owned by a single person. But if there is a feature or if there is a story that should be owned and developed by a couple of developers, then you will be splitting them or drill down those story into 3 to 4. I mean, how many developers are going to work? So you're going to drill down into number of subtasks. Each subtask will be assigned to each developer. This is how you will be dividing the ownership, and each person should own their own task. You can't share the ownership of a single work item with multiple people. So that's when you will create a subtask underneath of your stories or under your task, under your bugs. But don't create a subtask under Epic. Okay. And project is also similar level of your stories or task or bugs. And this is majorly created, or this type is being introduced majorly for management purpose. Let's say there is a project, and if I want to capture some sensitive data which should be hidden by the developers, then the project coordinator or the project manager is going to create a new project under your Epic. I mean, that's what we called in a website team because they have. Okay, I don't want to mess up this with website. So you're going to create one project issue type, and in your project, not under Epic, but just a project. And you're going to capture the sensitive data, and this will be created only by project admins. So developers can't create any work item in the project work item type. That will be restricted, or you'll be thrown error when you're trying to create a project work item type. Okay. So this is the standard hierarchy when you start with
Let's
Jira.
stop here for half a second so that everybody understands this. Guys, do you understand what Leo is trying to tell you between the difference between an epic, a story, a work item, a bug, and a project? Maybe the word project is confusing. This project work item or type in Jira is not the same as a project. Leo, maybe we should rename this to not a project but project details or something. Otherwise, people might get confused.
Yeah, sure, Vijay. I'm good with that. We can rename
Yeah,
it.
we can just make a note and we can have a discussion about it. Guys, can you please give us inputs if you're understanding what Leo is saying? Do you understand the structure?
Yes.
Sorry?
Sir, can you please re-explain the project once?
Okay, this project will be used only by the project administrators. Okay, so more likely, so if I want to capture the budget of the project, but you don't want to disclose this budget to your developers, but this is mostly used by your management, and the project admin will create a project work item. It's not a project. So like Vijendra mentioned, it's not a project of project. It's a project type in Jira in which you will create a work item named project. Of course, we are going to rename it after discussing with Mahesh and Vijendra. So this will just capture, let's say you are working for a client ABC, or maybe you're developing a software for ABC, right? So you may need to capture the budget when this project is started, when this is going to end, what is the budget of the project. Those kind of sensitive details will be captured in this work item type. So developers can't create this type, even if they are able to see that in their dropdown. But when they try to create it, they will be thrown error that you are not allowed to create. But only the Jira admin or the project admins can create this work item type. It is just to track your project sensitive information and the project timeline. That's it. Not more than that.
So this item, we can rename it to project details or something, is basically to replace some of your Excel sheets that you have, where you have such budgetary information.
Okay.
This is needed to prepare some of the reports, which basically says that you You started this piece of work for some project, some company. You originally priced it at 50 rupees and that it will finish in 3 months. Now the project is going to finish in 10 months and its cost has gone away from 50 rupees. So this is just to track those kinds of details. It has nothing to do with anything else. Is that clear?
Okay, sir. Yes.
Is this clear to everybody how you are going to use Jira? Because the way you use Jira, the way website team will use Jira is completely different. You will use Jira where every project that you do is a brand new project in Jira or a space in Jira. So for example, if you are implementing, let's say, Biz hierarchy for complex C, you will get a brand new space in Jira for that. You will get a complete space in which you will have stories, items, bugs, etc. Make sense?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So next, I'll show quick demo with the Jira software of day-to-day activities. Okay. For your each and every project, new in Jira, the project is being called as a spaces, which is a space, of course. So for your each project, new space will be created in a Jira, and this space will be created only by Jira admin. So I'm not sure who is discussing with Mahesh or Vijay, and whoever is going to be the Jira admin will create a new space whenever you're going to start work on your new projects. So don't worry about the things that I'm going to do now. So this is only for project, I mean Jira admins. So let me set up some demo site or demo website, sorry, demo space for you, for me to show you. So let me start with the SAP team. So if any one of you come here from here is becoming a Jira admin, so whenever you're going to create the project or space for SAP, make sure to include SAP in your project name. SAP settings. Then we have a template already with predefined configurations, so it should be picked from there. Okay. SAP team has given me some templates that should be followed whenever the new project is started. So whenever the new project is being created with the project name contains a SAP, the number of issues that should be created, I mean, this will be created automatically, but not for PHP or BCRP. So this is only applicable for SAP team. Okay, just expecting to see the remaining issues. And this automation will run for some time because it takes time due to the number of issues or number of work items needs to be created. So you can see the number of stories, and also there is a subtask which is created. This is created based on given input to me. So you see this number of tickets is automatically created whenever the new project is created. So, but for remaining team, okay, you won't see any epics or stories which is created by default whenever the new space is being configured for you. So what you are going to do, you are going to create these epics, which is your modules manually. So let's say I'm going to create, just for an example, this is a standard template, and even the SAP team needs to create a new epic or new module, or they need to create a new stories underneath. So this is going to be same for SAP or remaining BCRP or PHP team. So I'm going to create a new epic, which is your module. Leave the parent empty for epic alone. Okay, and you're going to give the due date when it is supposed to be completed. So let's say I'm going to give it as on 31st. Create. Again, I need to create another story for this one. So let me go and create a story. So here you're going to choose a work item type, which is a story.
কোথা থেকে যাচ্ছে এই ক্রিয়েট স্টোরি এই অপশনটা নিচে?
Give the short summary, short subject, I mean, short note about the story. Story. And make sure to select a parent with the epic or which is a proper module for you. So here I'm going to select this epic and give detailed description. So original estimate, I'll come to this part later, but you can choose a priority, labels, start date if you want to give when you're going to start date, and make sure to you fill the due date for this story. Create. And this is a standard procedure that you're going to create a story, task, bug. Let's say if I want to create, I have created a story, okay, and I need a couple
হ্যাঁ
of
হ্যাঁ হ্যাঁ
subtasks needs to be created for this particular story. How will I be able to do that? So let me go and try to create a subtask here. Obviously, you won't see subtask issue type here. The work
ও
item type is
এখান
not
থেকেও চুজ
available for
করছে
me
কি
in this
টাইপ
drop
অফ
down.
ওয়ার্ক।
So technically, I won't be able to create a subtask in the normal way that I create a story or task. But still, how will I do that? So I just need to work on a story or task for which I need to create a subtask. Open it in a new tab or in the same tab. And under your summary, you see plus icon. Click on the plus icon. Create a subtask from here.
ও
So, sir, it means story itself a task.
Story, of course.
Okay.
Story is just a type of your task, just like the way bug is a type of your task.
Okay.
Which is what I explained in a previously with documentation. When you need to create a story and when you need to create a task in each type. Okay, so this is how you'll be creating your stories, bugs, epics, and subtasks whenever you need. So are we clear with the tickets or work items creation? So make sure you select the parent and
এইগুলো
make
তো
sure
আমরা
you
করবো
select
না
the
বলো?
due date for your activities or for your work items. These two are very important. Okay. Okay.
ঠান্ডা লাগছে।
Now let's go to the planning session. Planning section where you will do where you are going to follow the agile methodologies. Okay, which is what our trained. I mean, which is what my Jendra has given you some training history. So here, this is your backlog section where you're going to plan for your work or plan for your sprint, from where you're going to pick up your work in a time period. Every stories, task, works will appear here. You can plan your stories or tasks. You can't plan your subtask alone in a sprint. They all tied up with stories or tasks. So if I plan, okay, I'll come to that part. So I need to create a sprint first. You can see if you see active sprints, this board is empty, and this is your actual work, and I mean where you're working, the work items will be shown up here. But as of now, this board is empty because we haven't started the work yet. So let me go back to my backlog. So sprint one, okay, I'm going to rename it. I don't want to confuse this with the major part with your planning is assigning a story points for your stories. Okay, so you see some dash here. This is the story points, and you need to assign a story points for your each and every task. So story points is nothing but the complexity of the work, how long it is going to take. The story point will be for in a sequential is 1, 5, 2, 3, 5. It's just a plus of previous two numbers, then 8, and then 13. This is the sequential that it will be followed for story points, but I don't think you'll be using more than 5 or 8 or 13, but it's up to you how you're going to work on it. So more likely how the other teams are following when assigning a story points is the complexity of the work. If one story points equals 8 hours of work, so let's say if this work is going to be completed in a day, then I'll be assigning this with 1. So the project owner or the product owners should discuss this with the plan, I mean, discuss with the team, and these story points assignment should be happening in the team discussion. So they need to assess the task, complexity of the task, and you are going to assign the story points for them. Temporarily, I'm just going to assign some story points for demo purpose.
কোথায় লেখা ব্যাকলগ হ্যাঁ স্টোরি পয়েন্টস ওই এতে টুল টিপে হ্যাঁ
Okay, so you'll have to do it for each and every stories here. Now, you may have probably you may have like 40 stories or 50 stories, but you are not going to work all 40 stories or 50 stories together, right? And among 40 stories, 50 stories, some in the very bottom requires a very high priority, or you need to focus them on first. So you need to, this is where the backlog grooming comes in picture. Backlog grooming is nothing but putting the task on a top based on the priority that you need to address. Let's say this is my first module, and when I try to plan, obviously I'll be going with the top of the tickets, which is in the top. But I may miss the priority one which is in the bottom. So you'll have to do the backlog grooming after assigning the story points of each task. Let's say this should be addressed as a first one, then I'll move it to back top of my backlog. Similarly, if something needs to go in a top, you are going to do this. This is a backlog grooming, we call it. So you're going to prepare your backlog first. The tickets should go in a first. Ticket should be addressed in a first. Okay. Now you can plan for your sprint. Let's say, Vajendra, they're going to follow 2 week sprint, or here they also is going to follow a week sprint.
My preference always is a weekly sprint for a team that has not done sprints before. But
Okay.
I would like to see what Abhijit and Gopal have to say.
काजल टीम से आपको
So
आर्किटेक्चर
sprint is nothing but the fixed timeline. Let's say mostly team will follow weekly sprint or
टीम से आपको
bi-weekly sprint.
आर्किटेक्चर
Bi-weekly sprint is nothing but okay, I'm going to plan for certain tasks to be completed in this week, or I'm going to plan certain tasks to be completed in these 2 weeks. This is what the sprint is mostly about.
Guys, so you think you guys can do planning for 2 weeks in advance? See, that is the most important part. The important part is not to say that my sprint will be 2 weeks or 5 weeks. It is about how much you can plan ahead and how much you can stick to the plan. If you are going to plan ahead for 2 weeks, but change it every second day, then it's not going to make any difference.
Normally, in a week we have planned. I think Devika can confirm. Am I right, Devika? Hello.
Yeah, I think weekly sprint would be better for both the team.
Okay.
Okay,
क्योंकि हम लोग
sounds
के
good.
पास हेडफोन
So
नहीं है
now let's say I have a 5 team members and their capacity is 10 story points. Okay, so each story point, just for an example, I'm giving. So this is my sprint, and I'm going to plan the sprint with my team, and I'm going to assign the task to my sprint.
काम कर रहे कब आई आज सुबह नहीं कल कल सुबह
Okay. So, but if you see here, I assigned almost 6 stories. But if you check my story points that I planned for the sprint is a 13, while my team's capacity is only 10. And this is kind of so here I need to discuss with my team whether they will be able to take up this 13 story points, will be able to complete in a given timeline. If not possible, then I need to plan which one should go first and which can be taken as a second. Let's say this one, maybe. Just for an example, I'm removing this to backlog. Now, if you see my story points is 10, this sprint is my is now planned for 10 story points, which is my team's capacity. So this is how we are going to plan for your sprint. The work needs to be assigned and how much they can complete. Okay. So it's not something you okay. Now this sprint is planned. If I go to my active sprints, still I don't see any work items because the sprint is created, the sprint is planned, but the sprint is not started. So I need to start the sprint and make sure you want to go with the weekly sprint. So I'm going with the weekly one. Start it. Now I can see the sprints here. So if you see nothing is grouped, okay, now the things are grouped
तुम
by
लोग क्या बोल
stories.
रहे हो जो
But if
देखो
I want to see the tickets should be grouped by epics, which is your
प्रोजेक्ट
module,
ओनर
you
तो
can do that. So now you can see everything grouped by module, or if you want to group by
আমরা এইভাবে দেখতে
assignees,
পাবো
you can do so. So
এবার সেটা
assignee
আমাকে
everything
অ্যাসাইন
is
করতে
unassigned,
হবে
so
না
you
দেখতে
don't see
পাবো
any streamlines. But if you guys are working with the subtasks mostly, which means your stories are going to be break down into subtasks in many places, then I would
ओ
prefer
इन प्रोसेस
stories because this will give you the better picture how many subtasks are being in which status, how many are completed, so on and so forth. Okay, it's up to you how you're going to follow. Now let me take this one as an example how I'm going to work through it. It's in a backlog and I'm going to put it in a to-do status.
বুঝি তোমার দিদি কোথায়
Before that, I show it
দিদি কোথায়
the workflow that your ticket will pass through. There may be a slight change in the workflow
মানে
for CRP or PHP team, but this is designed for SAP team.
কাল একদিন তাড়াতাড়ি
I
এসে
think this should
আরেকদিন
be
দেরি
same for BCRP as well. I can confirm that.
দিদি
So backlog,
Develop.
if you want to cancel any tickets, you are going to cancel it from there itself. You are not going to work on it, or you're going to put it into to do, and then when you're going to start work on it, you're going to move it in progress, and then it can go to code review, or it can go to code status for some reason. Maybe you are waiting for some internal, or this is blocked by something, or you're waiting for some information from someone, or you're waiting requirements from client. So something may block you. So in
জিজ্ঞেস
those
করবে কিন্তু তোমাকে
situations, you're going to
কি
move the
করালো,
ticket back to
বলতে
on
হবে সব
home.
মনে করে।
From on home, it can again only go back to in progress. It can't go to done or deployment or code review. So it can go back to in progress. From there, once the task is completed, you're going to move it to code review.
क्या
Then it goes to testing, and then it goes to deployment and
है
code
लियो
review. If
करके।
anything fails at any situation, let's say if code review fails, you're going to push it back to in progress. If testing fails, you're going to push it back to in progress. If deployment fails again, you're going to push it back to in progress, and the cycle has to be completed until it fixes the story or task. This is how your workflow, this is how your ticket will be following through. So now I need to move it to do.
इनका वॉइस थोड़ा
So
क्लियर
here,
नहीं है।
original estimate is what I need to give for my tasks. Original estimate is in the sense how many hours or how many minutes or how many days it is going to take. So let's say, okay, here you can see the denotations. Denotations is W means week, D means day, H means hours, and M means
এটা
minutes.
তো আমরা
Say
জানি।
I want to take almost 2 days, 10 hours, maybe 5 hours, and 30 minutes. Okay, this is my original estimate, and I'm going to wait to do. If you see here, this is the original estimate I gave 2 days, 5 hours, and 30 minutes. How many hours I logged, how many hours is remaining is also you can see in a more field section.
এইটা কি আমাদের দিতে হবে
So
টাইম লিঙ্ক,
let me
টাইম
start work
লাইনটা?
on this ticket.
টু ডু থেকে ইন প্রগ্রেস কি করে হবে?
Start progress.
এই যে এই জিনিসগুলো কে করবে?
Let's assume I have spent
সেটাই তো,
almost
একটা
5 hours
টাস্ক আমি
here,
পেলে সেই
and then
এইটা
I need,
চেঞ্জ করব।
after spending just 5 hours, then probably I may take a break, or maybe unmute other work item need to be completed, or some reason that you're moving away from this task completion or work. Then I need to log the hours I spend on this particular ticket. There are two ways to log is, sorry, three ways to log. What to work log? Either you can log the work from app time section, add log work, or in the work log tab panel you can see log time. Excuse me. Or in the top, click three dots. Okay, I think they removed it from here.
অত
Okay.
দেখিয়ে যাচ্ছে, রেকর্ডিংও তো হচ্ছে।
Or you can click on this time tracking. That will open the panel. So either of these three ways you can follow. So I'm gonna click on this time tracking and do the 5 hours of work. As soon as I did these 5 hours, you can see the time remaining is automatically adjusted. I don't need to adjust
ও
anything.
আচ্ছা,
So complete,
ওখান থেকে
and
ডিডাক্ট করা শুরু
then
করে
I
দেবে।
have spent another day here. Just put it
হ্যাঁ,
8 hours. 8
ওইখানে
hours
লক
is
করতে হবে
already,
টাইমিংটা, তাহলে ওই যেটা
that
টাইম
will be
রিমেনিং
adjusted
আছে ওখান থেকে
automatically.
মাইনাস
Then
হচ্ছে
sometimes you will
অটোমেটিক।
adjust at 30 minutes. Of course, here in the note, you can give what you did. So, so that should justify, I mean, that will justify your logging hours. It's optional, but if you give, that would be better.
So here I want to make 2 points. First, please don't try to manipulate this to say originally I estimated 8 hours. I've spent 24 hours on it, but I will still type only 8 hours. This used to happen in the past. Please don't do that. Otherwise, we will never be able to improve. This was not to categorize your productivity. This is just to categorize that if our estimations are correct or not. Hope you understand that. So please don't manipulate this. Second, whenever you are logging time, because this is for the development team and 90% of you will be logging time to say what code you have done, I would assume that with each log, you will have a commit to Git or Bitbucket. So in the notes, you can just type the commit, because when you do a commit and you add this ticket number, you will automatically be able to see each commit. I don't know, Leo, if you're showing smart commits in this session or not.
That's part of a Bitbucket session, right? Since they're not
Yeah.
here.
So let's do that as well, just so that they understand. Okay, this is especially true, Abhijit, for your team and Gopal, your team. Please don't try to manipulate this.
Sure.
Okay, and let's say in just another 6 hours here. This is done. Of course, not everything should be logged in progress. I'm just showing an example. So you may
That
spend
किसी
some
होने के
time
वजह
in
से
manual
HK
development, you
case
may spend some time in other
ऊपर
stages.
numbers
So you're going to move to respective stages and you're going to log the hours in which you spent. It's not always in a in progress status. Okay, so I'm just trying to transition to testing, deployment. So maybe you may spend some time with the deployment here, right? So I have 2 hours remaining and I want to log these 2 hours here. Or maybe just 1 hour. And when I try to close, please select the resolution. Resolution is nothing but what kind of fix that we applied, what kind of the solution
मैंने
we
टास्क का नाम
achieved
हेगले হবে তাই
in
তো
this ticket, whether it is completed done, it's not possible, won't do, or this is a declined feature, or maybe something else. So I'm going to do that, and you can see I haven't logged anything, so I'm trying to adjust something. So sorry, I'm trying to close something. You won't be closed this ticket until you log the hours. So I need to complete this. Then that's it. This is how you'll be working on your Jira stories. And of course, if you need to add something to someone, you can add a comment here. So probably if I'm locked with some inputs with Vaijendra, so you can always do the command just like the way you do with other applications. And Vaijendra will be notified that he's being mentioned on a ticket. He will come here and he will reply back. You're going to keep this thread open for communication purpose. Okay. Sorry, missed to mention that in a Teams tab, you can see who is owning this ticket. So you go to Teams tab, and then you can see the assignee, get it assigned to the respective persons. Let me refresh this. You can see one ticket is closed and remaining is open. For some reason, it shouldn't be happening, but in worst case scenario that you want to fix some bugs, that in this which is so and so high priority, which should not happen again, but in worst case scenario that you need to do some activities in the current sprint which is not in a planned state, right? So for example, I'm going to move it to this sprint and I'll be giving a warning that it is going to affect my plan. So I'm just going to confirm this just to show you a particular report. That's it. But this shouldn't be the scenario that you need to follow. If such scenario occurs, even this will be identify what are the tickets passed or assigned to the sprint outside of the planning session. That's what I wanted to show you here. Okay. Now you completed the work and you maybe worked or closed all the tickets or all the work items, which is good. Sometimes you may miss something. So while during the completion of sprint, you are going to make a decision. What about the incompleted work items or open work items? So one work item is completed and five is in open state. So those five can be moved to new sprint or again can be moved to backlog and you can start the planning session again. So it's up to you what you're going to choose.
Which
I'm going to choose a new
certificates are
sprint
there?
here, complete sprint. So you can see backlog, the new sprint is automatically created and assigned all open items again to the sprint. I didn't do that. So again, you're going to have the planning section. Okay, whether these stories needs to be completed in this sprint. If yes, you're going to continue. Otherwise, you're going to remove something from here and add some more stories, and you're going to start the work again, start the sprint. So this is how you're going to plan and work on the work items.
Okay,
Any
so Leo, before the team asks you, sometimes they need to work on a project that was done 2 months ago as a
okay,
support activity. They
okay.
created a report, it is not working.
So he,
That project is closed,
okay,
zero.
okay.
So can we have a sprint that spans multiple projects?
Of course, the support ticket will be passing through multiple sprints, but you are going to handle the support through JSM, right? So JSM will not come into sprint.
No, no. So yes, there is a support problem, report is not working.
Okay.
But the developer has to fix the report, right?
Developer has to fix the report, but that's a bug. That's not a support activity. That's a bug. You're going to
Yeah,
create
so
a
that's what I'm saying. Support activities will result in developer activity.
yeah,
So in this sprint,
yeah,
I am working on project for abc.com.
of course.
The support activity or the bug is for efgh.com.
Okay.
Completely different company, completely different project, everything is different.
Sure, I get your point, Vijendra, but this is not a website team, right? So they are going to have each and every project in a separate space. So let's say
Correct.
for
That
ABP, there is
project
a
was done 2 years ago. That project was done 2 years ago. We delivered it. We closed the project.
okay,
Okay.
okay,
After that, we've got some request.
okay,
So the question basically is forget about the structure of the project. You can structure
okay.
it in multiple ways. Can a sprint have items from two different projects?
Two different projects can have, but technically I won't suggest that.
Yeah,
That will
I
mix up your
understand.
things. So, so your team can work on two modes separately. So for this ABC, of course, they're going to have the development activities as part of this sprint. And like you mentioned, if there is any bugs opened by the closed project, Jira project is not going to be declosed. That is going to still remain in your Jira instance. So the bug has to be created in the respective client project. And there you're going to plan it again and you're going to showcase it. So let's
Yeah.
say
So the
I'm
planning activity, what I'm trying to ask you is, we will put it in that project only, but it has to be put in a sprint. Because we are running one sprint at a time, I am not going to start two sprints, one for
true.
efgh.com, one for abc.com.
Yeah.
So in this sprint for this week, can I assign two items from efgh.com to two developers for Monday and Tuesday, and the rest of the week they will continue to do abc.com?
It's doable, Vaijendra. Again, it's doable. It's up to team how they want to take it up.
Mamitabh নিজে
See, if I
কাশ্মীরি
So
want to
হয়ে গেল
bring the other items from other projects, the board configuration, of course, there is a board configuration adjustment requires. And the parallel sprint, you are not going to start parallel sprint in the same board.
क्योंकि
That
एक ही दिन में
other
वो
project
काम
is going to handle separate board, so they can start the sprint if they want to run it separately. But if they want to do it in the same board, of course, still doable. Slight board configuration adjustment
তার
required.
মানে
That's
দুটো
it.
স্প্রিন্ট
okay,
তৈরি
so
করতে
this is the question I want to ask both Gopal and Abhijit or Devika. How do you want to run your bugs and your support activity where a developer intervention is required? If it's only support where a few questions have to be answered, that you can do with your service management ticket itself. It's only when a developer is required and you need to assign work to them Then how do you want to tackle it? In the same sprint, you will create a separate sprint. How will you do it?
So it is better if we create a separate sub sprint.
You also sono.
There is nothing called a sub sprint.
Hey, support sprint, not sub sprint.
No, no. Even if you create a support sprint, that support sprint will still have work items from 10 different projects, correct?
Yes.
So even if we create a separate sprint, Leo will still have to configure the dashboard so that you can bring items from multiple projects into this sprint. You start a new one, you create you use the same one, that doesn't matter. Question is multiple projects into a simple sprint. Leo, you got the problem?
No, I got the problem is I'm okay with approaches, whatever the approaches, but at the end, somebody should take ownership. I mean, somebody should own the ownership. They should make the required changes with their project or code configuration. Otherwise, whatever they are looking for is not possible because they are not going to work with the static projects. For each client, they are going to come up with a new project in Jira again, right? So if I want to include this ABC, let's say ABC is completed and they started work with XYZ. Now my support board should include the items from XYZ as well, right? So it's not
Correct.
something we can dynamically configure it. It's not something there is an automation that can update it. Someone should own it and they should work with that.
Okay, so take this as a problem, Leo, because this is a real world problem. When projects are done over a period of time, you'll start getting bug reports for them, correct?
Okay.
And as the number of projects increases, you can't keep having multiple sprints running. You will go mental. So take this as a problem to say this team
Mm-hmm.
works on a project one at a time,
Okay.
but they get lot of support requests where developer intervention is required.
Okay.
Okay. In that case, what is the best way to manage that piece of work? Because they will always get it from various businesses or various projects. It is very rare that you get support activities only from the last project that you're doing. You get
So
where I'm
in
coming
that,
from?
yeah, I get your point, Vijendra, but I would like to discuss this with you separately or with my peers.
Okay, so let's take that as a homework for us. Let's discuss that and come up with an alternative solution for the team.
I can do that.
Okay?
It's a simple thing for me. I can set up the initial. I can do the initial setup, but remaining configurations for future projects, someone should own it.
Yeah, that's fine. As long as it's documented, we identify a Jira admin. They will anyway have to do a lot of work for Jira admin, right?
Yeah.
So let's take it from that. No problem.
Okay. Probably, I think I have something in my mind now. I'll do the
Okay.
configuration. Once I have this basic setup, then we can start discuss about how we
Yeah,
can.
it's okay. Okay, I have to log off at 11 o'clock sharp because I have another call at 11.
I do
So
have to have a call at 11 too.
yeah. So
So
let's probably close this in the next 10 minutes. And
yes.
Leo, please set up follow-up sessions today itself because my calendar gets full otherwise. Like
No
tomorrow, 10
problem.
o'clock, I'm still busy.
So tomorrow 10 is not there because Mahesh mentioned that no one is going to available tomorrow on Thursday. They have some reviews. So only
Okay, fine.
Friday is what I'm going to set up a call for the same team here for Bitbucket because website team you don't mention. I mean you mentioned they don't need a Bitbucket training. So I'm going
Yeah,
to
but
invite the
Bitbucket,
same
we can do it in the evening, no? If possible. Guys, can you do a training for Bitbucket in the evening today?
No, sir. We have a scheduled meeting. So many. It is better. It is doing it in Friday.
But the more you delay these trainings, the more your transformation to Jira and Bitbucket is going to get delayed. You will keep
No, sir.
working on the old ways. You are not
What
going to.
time
And
should the GS
Mahesh has a very clear deadline that by 1st of November, he wants you all
Jira
to
কত
start
করতেই
using
হবে
this
স্যার
platform. It's up to you.
করতেই হবে হ্যাঁ করতেই লাগবে
Yes, sir. But today
I
there are
would be
so many
highly
schedules.
surprised if the whole
অলরেডি
team has a
স্যার
meeting in
মনে
the
হয়
afternoon,
ক্লায়েন্টের ওখানে দেও
even for an hour or 2 hours.
দেও পেঁয়াজ চপ্পল
I'll be highly surprised.
দেও
So please figure it out and let Leo know. If you can do it in the evening, let's finish Bitbucket training in the evening. It should be pretty straightforward. It should not take more than half an hour because most of you understand how Git works because some of you are already using Bitbucket, some of you are already using Azure DevOps. So he doesn't need to train you on Git or Git commands. He just needs to
আজকে
train
তো
you on
কোনো নোটও
specifics of
দিইনি
Bitbucket. That's all.
আমি
Correct, Leo?
হ্যাঁ
Yes, sir.
আগে
Yes,
স্যারকে
if
বলো
you are familiar with the gate, then you don't have any
You are
topics to
completely
cover.
familiar with Git. 100%.
And it's just a Bitbucket overview is what I need to give them. The UI,
Bitbucket overview, smart commits, and that's it.
yeah, that's it.
কি
Because they
ডিসাইড হলো না
understand
কখন
pull,
হবে
push, merge, all that stuff they understand, and we need to just teach them how, if they do releases from Bitbucket, then how Confluence can help them create release notes.
আশের জন্য দেখাটা
That's all.
ইজি না মানে
Okay. So Abhijit Gopal, please work that out and give me a schedule in the evening where we can close this. But I want to close this. Otherwise, we will not have time.
সিনিয়রকে জিজ্ঞেস করছো যখন বলবে তখন বলবে
Okay.
হ্যাঁ দেবো
So
Okay.
I'll wait.
হয়ে গেল
Just in case if I don't get any response for today, then I'll set up a call for Friday 10 a.m. for the same team for Bitbucket training. Then Monday,
তাহলে
one
আজকে নয়
call for all the project admins for JSM and Confluence training.
নিজেটাই বকছে
That's what I have in my plan. Just let
No,
you
we have
know.
the complete SAP team, Raj.
Sorry?
We have the complete SAP team left. We haven't touched the SAP team yet.
This is SAP team. Whatever we.
No, this is the web and PHP team.
No, I
There is
know.
nobody from the SAP team here.
I was not aware of that because I said there is like a for SAP team
কেউ
also.
নেই
Yeah,
না
there is
আমরাই শুধু
nobody
আছি
from the SAP team.
পিএইচপি আর ইয়ে টিম ডট নেট
Then I don't know what else we can do here because Meher mentioned that SAP team, the CRP team, and then PHP team is going to follow the same process.
নেই
I invited the SAP team too, but they missed to join.
Yeah, then you please update
হ্যাঁ
Mahesh
সকাল থেকে তো এসএপিকেই
that whom
ডাকছে
you invited and that they missed because I don't see anybody from the SAP team here.
বাবা সে পুরো ট্রেনিং কমপ্লিট হওয়ার পর
Okay, I just want you to be aware. That's all. Okay.
Okay.
So let's close this. Sorry, go on.
Sanchit, by any chance you got a chance to check with the SAP team because yesterday in a call that we discussed that SAP also going to be joined here.
ডেমো প্রজেক্ট ক্রিয়েট করবো
Sanjit?
হ্যাঁ আচ্ছা আচ্ছা ছিল
He's on mute.
Yeah.
সেকেন্ড পেজে আছে ওটা তো আছে টিম গোপাল আছে অঙ্কুর আছে
Ajit,
Okay.
are you on the call?
I'll follow it up with Indra. So, team, anybody has any queries with the tickets process and the planning session that we need to follow?
Guys, if you have any questions, please reach out to Leo on Teams. He'll be more than happy to answer your questions.
Sure.
Okay, and let's start taking one project and pushing it into Jira. Because till you start using it, you will not know. So both Abhijit, Gopal, please tell me when you can push the latest project that you are working on into Jira so that we can start using it from Monday.
Okay, let me discuss with Jay.
Sorry, let you? I didn't get you. Your voice is breaking.
Yes, we are trying to push new projects. So Devika will help me to push it.
That doesn't answer my question. Will we be able to do it for Monday? And we can start using
Devika,
it?
can you?
when will be the
Hello.
remaining part of this meeting
Yes.
So actually, Devika will be able to the project summary and all. So I need help from Devika. So our intervention is required.
Your intervention is absolutely required. Devika will only put the summary. Who will put the details?
Yes, yes, sure. I will.
Okay, so Devika, can you please coordinate with both of them and come back and tell me if you can start using this from Monday for
Yeah,
new
sure.
projects?
Okay, let me just have a word with Gopal and I'll
Now
update you
that
on
you all
this.
have been trained, and I hope I will not get a response back to say, no, sir, we need more training. We don't understand this. We don't understand that. Whatever you don't understand, please ask Leo. If you're quiet in a call and a training, I am going to assume that you have understood everything.
Yes, yes, understood. As of now, you have trained, we have understood.
Okay. Okay. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, everyone. Good day.
Thanks, Leo. Bye.
Thanks, sir.
ওটা ব্রাউজার ওপেন হচ্ছে